Hey everyone. So you're thinking about upgrading your home office for 2025. Well, we took a deep dive into this video all about the latest home office trends,
Mm-hmm.
and we are so excited to share what we found.
Yes.
Um, so to start, let's talk about the source material a little bit.
Okay.
It was this really cool video
Yeah.
all about like the hot new trends you're going to see in home offices
Yeah,
in
yeah.
2025.
Yeah, it's like they were reading my mind.
No, wait.
I was just thinking about redoing
You
mine.
know, me too.
Mm.
So we wanted to take a deep dive into this video,
Yes,
share some of our favorite takeaways,
for sure.
and just kind of get a conversation going
Absolutely.
about like how we can make our workspaces even better
Mm.
in the new year.
Exactly. Yeah.
So are you ready to jump in?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So first up
Wait.
is biophilic design.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this?
Yes, I've been seeing this pop up more and more lately.
Yeah.
It's
I
fascinating.
am one of those people
Right.
who buys a plant with every intention of keeping it alive,
Mm-hmm.
and then it promptly dies.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Pit happens to the best of us.
But even I was really intrigued
Mm-hmm.
by how they presented biophilic design in this video.
Yeah.
It's not just about,
Yeah.
sticking a succulent
Yeah.
on your desk.
Exactly.
It's about so much more.
It really is.
So what is it about?
Well, think about it. We as humans, we evolved in nature, but now so many of us are spending like the majority of our days staring at these screens in these like artificial environments. And it's like no wonder we're hitting that afternoon slump or feeling burnt out.
Totally.
So biophilic design is all about bringing those elements of nature
Okay.
back into our workspaces.
Got it. To kind of combat that.
Yeah, so they specifically mentioned in the video plants like snake plants
Oh, yes.
and pothos.
Great choices.
Which those are good for people like me,
Yeah.
right? Yes, definitely. Low maintenance. They purify the air.
Perfect.
They just add a little bit of life to your desk.
I love it.
Yeah, and to really kind of maximize those benefits of biophilic design,
Mm-hmm.
I would even consider adding like a small herb garden.
Ooh, I love fresh herbs.
Yes.
But how does that boost productivity?
Okay, well, so imagine this. You're hitting that mid-afternoon slump,
Mm-hmm.
right? And instead of just reaching for another cup of coffee,
Yep.
you step away from your screen for a few minutes
Mm-hmm.
and you tend to your little herb garden,
Okay.
You're smelling those fresh scents.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting your hands in the soil a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like a mini sensory break that is way more restorative
Interesting.
than just scrolling through social media.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Right.
It's like a little mini vacation for your mind,
Exactly.
but you're still at your desk.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of creating the right mood,
Yes.
let's talk about color. So I have to admit, I painted my office beige a few years ago, like a very neutral beige.
Safe choice.
Very safe, but maybe a little blah.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
So what did the video have to say about color?
Well, get ready to embrace some bold, energizing colors.
Okay.
Yeah. This trend is all about understanding how different hues can actually like impact our mood and our focus.
Okay, interesting. So they mentioned colors like deep greens, rich blues,
Yes.
even terracotta and mustard yellow. Is there a method to choosing the right color or...
Yes, there definitely is
Okay.
science to it.
Okay.
Think about it this way. If you want a space that feels really calm and promotes focus, opt for those cooler tones like blues and greens.
Interesting.
They can even help minimize distractions.
So that's why hospitals are painted blue and green.
That's a great example.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you're looking to kind of spark creativity, if you have a space for brainstorming, those warmer colors like yellows and oranges can be super stimulating.
Oh, okay.
And if you can't repaint, they mentioned adding pops of color through accents.
Oh,
Go like rugs and throw pillows.
that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I can definitely do that.
for sure.
Okay, so the next trend we wanted to talk about
Yes.
is something called minimalist maximalism.
Ooh.
Yes. Help me out here. This sounds like a contradiction.
I know, right? It does sound like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
But it's actually a really brilliant concept.
Okay.
So imagine this. You have a desk. Maybe it's made of reclaimed wood. Very like Zen-like in its simplicity.
Right.
But then you add in a pop of color with like a vintage Italian lamp.
Okay.
Maybe something like bold and sculptural. That's minimalist maximalism in a nutshell.
Okay, so it's not about like stark emptiness.
Yeah.
It's also not about
Right.
cluttering every surface with stuff.
Exactly.
It's about
Yeah.
like a few key pieces
Mm-hmm.
that really have a statement.
Yes. It's about striking that balance between functionality
Right.
and self-expression.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to trend number 4,
Okay.
smart technology integration.
Ooh, yes.
I'm a little bit of a tech geek.
Me too.
This one really caught my eye.
For sure.
But I was wondering, like, is it really about more than just having a bunch of cool gadgets in your office?
Absolutely. It's about more than just gadgets. It's about technology that actually like seamlessly integrates into your workspace
Mm-hmm.
and enhances your productivity.
Okay.
You know, like imagine a smart desk that learns your focus patterns
Mm-hmm.
and it automatically like dims the lights when you need to do deep work.
Well, is that a thing?
Not quite that advanced yet, but
Uh,
we're getting there.
Okay.
You know, right now you can get desks that adjust to your preferred height, like
Uh,
with a touch of a button.
oh, cool.
You can get lighting that you control with an app.
Mm-hmm.
You can even get chairs that remind you to stand up and move.
Ooh, I like that one.
Right.
That reminds me of the ergonomics trend.
Yes.
They highlighted adjustable chairs, wrist rests, those kinds of things.
Yes, ergonomics is no longer an afterthought, you know?
Right.
It's about designing these workspaces that actually support our bodies
Mhm.
and prevent strain and injury,
Right.
all while looking stylish and modern.
Yes.
It's the best of both worlds.
I will admit,
Mm-hmm.
I once tried to create a standing desk setup using a stack of books.
Oh, no.
And let's just say it did not end well.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
But luckily, there are so many better options now.
So many. Yeah.
Like adjustable chairs, monitor risers,
Mm-hmm.
even keyboard trays to help with wrist position.
Yes, exactly.
And it's not just about like avoiding pain.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying how good ergonomics can actually boost productivity
Absolutely.
because you're more comfortable and focused.
You're more comfortable. You can focus better. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so speaking of creating a really personalized workspace,
Yes.
the last trend that they highlighted
Mm-hmm.
was personalized work zones.
Yes.
And this one really resonated with me
Okay.
because I realized my current setup doesn't really support all the different types of work that I do.
Yeah, that's a really common issue.
It is.
Mm-hmm. So many of us are trying to cram all of our activities
Yeah.
into this one generic space.
Right.
But with personalized work zones, you're
Mhm.
creating these designated areas for specific tasks.
Yeah.
So it's like having multiple mini offices within your office.
Okay, so they showed a cozy little reading nook
Yes.
for focused work,
Mm-hmm.
a brainstorming corner with a whiteboard,
I love that.
and a dedicated standing desk area.
Perfect.
So it's like your office can flow with your workday.
Exactly, rather than kind of fighting against it.
Yes, I love that.
Right.
So that's all for part 1 of our deep dive. But stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve into even more of these trends.
Yes, we'll talk about how to actually implement them in your own space.
Yes, we'll give you all the practical tips and resources you need
Absolutely.
to level up your home office game
Can't wait.
in 2025.
It's going to be great. It really is amazing how just like a few tweaks to your soundscape can make such a big difference
Right.
in how you work and focus.
It's like creating a soundtrack for your workday.
Yes.
So speaking of soundtracks,
Mhm.
what about music?
Oh, yeah.
Like, is there any research
Mhm.
on what types of music are best for certain tasks?
There's actually a whole field of study dedicated to that.
Oh, wow.
It's called psychoacoustics.
Interesting.
Yeah, so some studies
Yeah.
suggest that like classical music or nature sounds
Okay.
can help with focus and concentration.
Makes sense.
Well, like upbeat music
Mhm.
might be better for tasks that require more energy.
Right, okay.
You know, things like brainstorming.
Yeah, so it's not just about hitting shuffle on my playlist.
Right.
I should be a little more intentional
Exactly.
about what I'm listening to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good to know.
And don't forget,
Mhm.
sometimes the best soundscape
Yeah,
is silence,
right.
especially for those tasks that require deep focus.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get so used to having background noise
Mhm.
that I forget the power of quiet.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we talked about biophilic design,
Mm-hmm.
color, smart technology, ergonomics,
Mm-hmm.
personalized work zones, even the soundscape.
Yeah.
Did we miss anything?
Well, all these trends are really like pointing towards this bigger shift in how we view our workspaces.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about creating a space to get things done anymore.
Right.
It's about designing an environment that really supports
Okay.
our well-being.
I love that idea.
Right.
But it
Well,
feels a little overwhelming. Like, where do you even begin?
start small.
Yeah.
You don't have to like overhaul your entire office,
Right.
you know? Maybe start by adding a few plants or making sure your desk gets lots of natural light.
Okay. And maybe swap out my beige walls
Yes.
for a more energizing color.
That's a great idea.
I'm thinking a deep blue or maybe a rich green.
Perfect. Love those choices.
Something to boost those creative juices.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I can think about the soundscape,
Mm-hmm.
see if there are any easy fixes I can do.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe a white noise machine
Right.
or some noise-canceling headphones.
But I could try using different playlists
Yes.
for different tasks.
Love that.
Ooh, I'm already feeling inspired.
Me too.
But how do I take all of this inspiration and make it a concrete plan?
Well, that's where visualization comes in.
Okay.
The video we watched showed some amazing home offices.
Right.
So look online, browse magazines, maybe visit some friends' offices.
I love that. It's like a mood board for your workspace.
Exactly, yes.
Yes. But what if I have a really small space?
Okay, yeah.
What if I don't have like a spare room to dedicate to this?
That's a common challenge.
Yeah.
But it's not a deal breaker.
Okay.
It's all about maximizing the space you do have.
Okay.
So look for multifunctional furniture.
Right.
Like a desk that can also be a dining table.
Oh, clever.
Or a bookshelf that doubles as a room divider.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
What about those personalized work zones?
Mm-hmm.
Can you do that in a small space?
Of course. You just have to get creative.
Okay.
Maybe you designate a corner of your living room as your reading nook.
Right.
You know, add a comfy chair and a little side table.
And then maybe set up my standing desk near a window.
Yes, get that natural light.
Get a view of the outdoors.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like creating little pockets of intention
Yeah.
within a larger space.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
And don't forget about vertical space.
Right.
Use shelves, wall-mounted organizers to
Okay.
keep things clutter-free.
I'm already picturing.
Like a sleek, wall-mounted shelf system
Yes.
above my desk for books and plants and little decorations.
Love it.
And this ties back into that minimalist maximalism concept.
Exactly.
So instead of trying to cram a bunch of stuff in,
Right.
it's about finding a few key pieces
Yes. Find those statement pieces.
that bring me joy.
Exactly.
So I could have a vintage globe or a piece of art that inspires me.
Perfect. Love that.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of tips
Right.
for creating an inspiring and productive office, but there's one thing I've been wondering about.
Okay. What's that?
What if you share your workspace with someone else,
Oh, that's a great question.
like a partner or a roommate?
It can definitely be a little more challenging
Right.
to design for a shared space,
Mm-hmm.
but with good communication and a little bit of compromise,
Okay.
it's totally possible.
So how do you approach that conversation?
Well, I think the most important thing.
Is to acknowledge that you're probably going to have different work styles and preferences.
Aye.
Like one person might thrive in a quiet environment while the other might need music to focus.
So you need to find a balance that
Exactly.
respects everyone's needs.
So maybe that means setting up designated work zones
Okay.
within the space.
Right.
So maybe one person takes the desk, the other works at the kitchen table.
Or you invest in noise-canceling headphones.
Yes, that's a great idea.
So one person can listen to music while the other has silence.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's about finding creative solutions and communicating.
Yes, communication is key.
Okay, so I'm picturing my partner and I sitting down with a glass of wine
Yes.
and brainstorming ideas for our workspace.
I love it.
That could be fun.
It could be a really fun bonding experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've talked about designing for individuals and even for shared workspaces. But what about the future of home offices?
Ooh.
Are there any like emerging trends
That's a great question.
or technologies that we should be thinking about?
One trend that's gaining a lot of traction
Okay.
is incorporating virtual and augmented reality.
Hold on. VR in my home office.
Yes.
That sounds like a sci-fi movie.
I know, right?
Okay. So,
But imagine putting on a VR headset
okay.
and suddenly you're transported to a virtual office.
No.
Maybe it overlooks a tropical beach
Okay.
or a bustling city.
So even if my physical space is small,
Right.
and boring,
Exactly.
I can create this virtual environment.
Yes. And it's not just about aesthetics either.
Okay.
VR and AR have the potential to like totally change the way we collaborate
Interesting.
and how we interact with information.
Okay, so this ties back into that smart technology.
Yes.
They talked about desks that could, like, anticipate your needs.
Yes, exactly.
Is that something VR could enhance?
Absolutely. You could have a VR workspace that adapts to your preferences in real time.
Okay.
The lighting could adjust based on your mood.
Mm-hmm.
Your virtual desktop could only show you the information you need, and your virtual assistant could even remind you to take breaks and move around.
Okay, that's pretty mind-blowing.
Right.
But is this even accessible to, like, the average person?
Well, VR technology is becoming more affordable,
Okay.
and as more companies invest in it,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to see prices continue to drop.
So it's not just a futuristic fantasy.
Right.
It's something we could see pretty soon.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, we went from basic plants and color palettes
Yeah.
to VR and virtual
I
assistants.
know. It's amazing.
That's quite a journey.
It is.
Well, I think our listener is ready to
Yes.
level up their home office skills.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap up, I
Yeah.
have one more question.
Okay.
So we've talked a lot about, like, the physical stuff and the technology, but what about the emotional side of things?
Oh, that's so important.
How do we create a space that, like, not only helps us be productive,
Right.
but also makes us feel good?
You know, we could have the best ergonomic chair and all the latest gadgets. But if our workspace doesn't feel good emotionally,
Right.
it's not going to be a place where we thrive.
So how do we do that?
Okay, well, one way is to think about things that make you feel happy, inspired, connected. Maybe it's photos of your loved ones
Right.
or artwork that makes you smile
I like that.
or even certain scents, you know?
Yeah, like a diffuser with my favorite essential oils.
Exactly. It's all about creating a space that feels uplifting and personal.
So it's like a sanctuary.
Yeah.
A place where you can escape
Ex-
and recharge.
What if you struggle with anxiety?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You know, some people feel overwhelmed really easily.
Other design tips for that?
Well, one thing you can do is to
Yeah.
create a sense of calm and order. Clutter can be a major trigger for anxiety.
Right.
So keeping things clean and organized can really help.
So minimalist maximalism could be good for that.
Yes. A clean, uncluttered base
Right?
with a few meaningful items.
And don't forget about biophilic design.
Oh, that's right.
Plants can be really calming.
Studies have shown that they reduce stress.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe you add a water fountain or use natural textures like wood and stone.
I like that.
Or even paint your walls in calming colors.
Okay, so it's about creating a serene atmosphere.
Exactly.
And what about personalization?
Oh, that's huge.
Like surrounding yourself with meaningful things.
Yes, things that tell your story.
Okay, so maybe a family heirloom or a souvenir from a trip.
Yes, or handmade gift.
Okay, it's starting to get the picture.
You know, your home office should be a reflection of you.
So it's not just a workspace. It's an extension of who you are.
Exactly. And when you create a space that feels authentic, it can have a really positive impact on your whole life.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm already imagining walking into my office, feeling energized, inspired, ready to go.
That's the goal.
Well, I think we covered just about everything.
I think so.
We went from plants and color palettes
Yes.
to virtual reality and the emotional side of design.
It was quite a journey.
I feel so inspired to redo my own office now.
Me too.
So to our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive
Yes, thank you.
into home office design.
We hope you learned a lot.
Yes, we hope you got some great tips.
Absolutely.
And remember, it's your space.
Make your own.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Yes. Yeah. Have fun with it.
And until next time, happy decorating.